Alright, so we're back and we want to finish this sort of light monitor off. The first thing I really do want to do though is that these walls, these gray walls, are kind of hard to see for me, so I'm going to change the shaded color of them. So I'm going to select this wall down here and I'm going to go to Edit Type. I'm going to go to Edit Structure and I'm going to change the structure of this wall to concrete. So it's concrete and select the concrete, and the graphics tab has a shading here, and this is what color it's shaded in the viewport when you pick that in the graphics. So I'm just going to left click on color here and we'll make it, oh, maybe just a light blue. Oops, grab that blue, pull it up, perhaps a periwinkle, and click OK, click OK, and click OK, click OK. And you're going to see all the walls turn blue that are the same 6-inch generic. So it updates all of them. So now you can see all those walls, right? So if we look, you can see those. Now, the mass has been turned off. So I'm going to turn that mass back on. So to turn the masses on and off, you can go to Massing and Site, and there's a Show Mass by View settings, and by default they're turned off. But there's a pull down and you can go Show Mass, Form, and Floor, so it drops that mass back in, right? So I want to put this little tiny wall on the edge of it, and then we'll kind of be done with it and we'll take a look at the model. So going to Architecture, Wall, Wall by Face, and picking the 6-inch generic wall and just going in and ticking around the edge of those to create those walls. Alright, so now, oops, I think I created a wall in a place that I didn't want it to be. Alright, so there's where I want my wall. Okay, so now we have pretty much everything in that we wanted. Now one of the nice things about Revit is that you can cut a section in here. So let's go ahead and cut a section. So I'm going to go and I'm going to close up my working, and I'm going to open up my schematic, and I'm going to go to my schematic floor plans, and I'm going to go to level 1 schematic. And it's going to show us the level 1, so we're sort of cutting through that mass. You can see the thickness of that mass, so you can kind of think of that mass as the light coming down the wall. And there's the exterior wall, right? So we're going to cut a section through this. So I'm going to go to View and Section, and we'll just cut a small section. I'm left clicking right through here. Okay, so you can see if I pick that section, oops, it's going to give me a right there. That's as far as that section is looking. That's the view range of that section, and it's 3-dimensional, so I can double click on that section right there, and you can now see that sort of monitor that we have. Now here's the glazing wall, and it's kind of thick. I think I'm just going to turn it off for right now, so I'm going to select that and right click on it and go to Select All Instances in an entire project, right? And so I can actually just delete them if I want to. I think I might just delete them, right? So you can see the outline of the mass, right? And then the light monitor that we made with the faces. So let's go ahead and right now that's a roof and a wall. So let's join. You can see how the walls join together, but you can actually go to Modify and join that and that together, right? So they clean up a little bit. You'll always have a little bit. You can think of this as sort of a conceptual massing. So we're not going to worry about a little bit of these incomplete. The roof is not super happy, right? So that roof, if it were a wall, it would have cleaned up, but that's all right. So let's go ahead and turn the masses off for right now. So I'm going to go to Architecture, oops, sorry, Massing and Site, and Show Mass by View Settings, so the mass goes away. Now one thing I want to show you is how the section will change if you update it, because it will update automatically. So the first thing I'm going to do is close my hidden windows. And then I'm going to double click on level 1 schematic. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit and I'm going to type in WT. And that's going to tile my windows next to each other. So you can see I have that window and this window. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit on this one. And I'm going to pick over here and select that section. And I'm going to pick this little blue dot, pull that section out to here. And then I'm going to pick the view range and pull it out to where it finishes over there. And you can see that section gets larger. I can also, if I come over here and pick this box, I can stretch that section out further this way. Okay. Now the view range is not showing the back of the building, so I can come back over here, pick that, and drag that view range out, and now you have a complete section through that, right, of that whole monitor situation. So it's actually quite nice. Now let's do one more thing, and then, actually I think that, alright, so that's interesting. You can also take this and move it, but it's not really going to change here very much, right, because that section is continuous. So let's take a little closer look at how Revit is creating floor plans. And the section is pretty clear, right? It cuts right through there and looks that way. But let's look at Revit levels. So this level is level 1. So basically these level 1 plans are starting here, going up 4 feet and cutting at 4 feet. And here's level 2. So if we were to go to level 2, it's actually going to look down on that entire piece and actually cut through that wall that is slanting up, that monitor wall, right? So that's how Revit sort of controls its sections. So it's literally sectioning through the model, which is pretty nice. So for example, if I go up here to close hidden windows and I go ahead and open up, let's say, an east elevation, and I window tile, right? So we're looking at these right next to each other. If I move level 2, right? So level 2 is a little far out. Let's see if I can, let's bring that in a little bit so I can see it next to the model. Right. So if I come in and I say, oh, I want level 2 to be at 6 feet, you'll see that that section updates because now it's cutting 4 foot lower than it was before. Or if I move it way up to here, it's just looking down on it because it's actually going up 4 feet and cutting because it's a floor plan, right? So it's the same thing with this, okay? So basically what you have with Revit is a very sophisticated 2D drawing maker, and we'll talk about that a little bit more further in the future.